Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome. First episode of this amazing concept we're going to start doing here in the studio in Lisbon. Welcome, my good friend Umek.
How are you?
Man. I'm very good, man. Thank you for taking the time. Literally
for sure.
arrived in Lisbon straight from the airport.
Exactly. Didn't even shower, didn't change, nothing. Bam!
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, yeah, basically, I wanted to start doing this podcast so we can just I'd chat a little bit of everything, like literally no boundaries, just, have a good time, have a good chat.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's go. So basically, the first thing I kind of wanted to go for is to talk a little bit about you, man. Like, I know you started doing music back in '93, right? I saw.
Yeah. I actually started to make music even earlier, but we did it in a 4-channel screen tracker. That is an 4-channel 8-bit program.
Okay.
And we actually sampled from cassettes that we recorded on a satellite radio station where we were listening to DJs like Carl Cox, DJ Tala, Killer Pussy, Wish Doctor, all this stuff, and then we just could sample like all these small tiny pieces. And then I was lucky enough that 2 of my friends that I had a band called Mousetrap back in the days.
You had a band back in the days?
Yeah, I like band, 3 of us. There were 3, and yeah, so they were like computer freaks. They still are, Shout out
well, like
to them,
all of us in a way, still, right?
But like they were doing stuff like really programming deep, I didn't understand anything what they were doing, but I was literally sitting there with them for 12 hours a day, and we were just doing this funny music, really bad quality.
What kind of music was
hardcore,
that?
Hard trance, techno, like all this stuff. When I started in imagine Slovenia, 2 million people, the scene is not existing. Like no way you could go into a certain genre at that point. So I was doing trance, hard trance, rave, techno, all this stuff.
So this was
around 93.
Back in
yeah. It's even before, but 93. I think we bought our first sampler, a KS 900. And then I think I released under name Umek my first record in 96, probably. Probably.
Under Umek.
Under Umek,
time.
yes.
Okay.
I had another vinyl with Mousetrap, but I wouldn't count that because it was our label, so I don't know, who cares?
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, I want to know something because I started DJing when I was 14. And this was back in 2009, and I remember exactly how the scene was back then, like the artists that I really liked, the music that I was playing. Back in the days, I was playing a lot of house, tech house, a little bit of techno, and the labels that I really liked, for instance, I was really into Tool Room, for instance, like Fede Legrand back in the days, Mark Knight, Funk Agenda as well. I really like that stuff. So like when you started, do you remember how the scene was back then? Like
of course.
Can you tell me? I'm curious, man. Like, I want to know, like that.
There was no scene, literally no scene.
Okay.
I did as well a radio show with a friend of mine, Alf. He actually is the guy who gave me the first chance to DJ. So he invited me to do this radio show in a radio station. We were playing hardcore music from midnight till 2, 0 listeners. I guess, it's just like, imagine like midnight and you go like 200, 180 BPMs, all this stuff.
So it was that hard, but it was that hard.
Yeah.
Intense,
I mean, honestly, I was young, searching for the energy. So I kind of relate to the scene that it's actually growing so crazy, faster and faster right now. I do relate because I'm too old to kind of, to get it completely. But I remember when I was young, it was all about the energy and the speed. So to go back, basically, then we started this techno night in Palma, and again there was no people
in Palma de Mallorca.
No, it's Palma. It's called Club.
Okay, I was like, it's
damn,
I would be surprised if it was actually in Mallorca. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting.
I was about 17 years old by that time. So this is when I went professional, and it was super hard. No crowd or nothing, so I had to build everything from
scratch, literally.
We had to build everything from the beginning. So it was fun, but fucking hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hard.
Were you playing? Okay, so when do you start to build the Umek sound and project properly, where you wanted to go like, okay, I know this is what I want to do musically, and I'm gonna try to go in this direction, or did it happen naturally?
No, so I still remember what changed it. It changed a track. Actually, a record from Surgeon on Downwards, and when I heard that record in '95, I was like, what is that? And then the color of my heart completely changed. I went from like playing trance, hard trance, all this ravey stuff into complete like dark underground techno.
Okay.
It was a crazy
what BPM
switch.
range was that at that time?
140.
140.
Like that,
Okay.
140.
Okay.
And that was a Birmingham sound, very popular at the time, very dark, and I liked it a lot. So I said, okay, I'm gonna forget what I was doing till now. This is what I want to do from then on. And then obviously I changed my style quite a lot of times because I spent a lot of time in the studio, and I get bored.
And then your mind starts thinking and trying different things, right?
Yeah, and I did some mistakes. I see it now as a mistake. I guess I would do it all over, again.
Yeah,
because I'm a curious person.
That's where my next question is gonna be. So yeah. So I want to ask you, which one do you think has been the worst year that you can remember, like the worst moment that you can remember? But of course, this means that you can also obviously learn something from that. You always learn from mistakes. But I want to know which one you feel like it was your.
I mean, it's kind of funny because it's a moment that a lot of people loved, and I loved it back then. And I don't want to say, it's that a bad moment, but like now it's shown as a bad moment. But again, I would go back and do the same thing. It was actually when I turned from techno to tech house and this more commercial sound.
Yeah. I remember years ago. Some records.
2013, I guess, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But then again, I was enjoying it every single time. I enjoyed going in the studio and do these bits, because I'm a curious person. What I did now is for not being carried away, I just don't listen to different stuff anymore.
Okay.
Because for example, I do love melodic house and all this stuff that's going on. It's actually, some of the things are groundbreaking, and I know for a fact that if I would go into that folder and start buying that, it would affect my sound too much. So now I'm on purpose not going there, trying not to.
It makes sense, because sometimes you just have to, like, for your profile, for what you really want to do, you have to be careful. You have to be like this. But maybe for your own personal taste, you're like, I could do this, I could do that. But then you need to think what actually works for your brand, for your profile, so people don't get confused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's my point. I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to be carried away. It's that simple, because it's always like, if something is interesting, I go that way. I know a lot of people will say, why don't you? It's just like, I don't know. My colors are techno, and I want to stick to that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered too much by body. It's a strong word, but I don't want to be distracted.
Of course. No, I mean, this happens to me as well, because I listen to so much music and I see everything that's out there, new producers, new music, and there's some sounds and directions that I really like, but then I'm like, okay, let's try to be a little bit careful because I want people to understand my thing and not confuse them in the way, so I think it's important to have a red line and also like really respect a little bit your boundaries, I think, right? To like not get too much outside of the way, right?
I think it's like that, it depends on what kind of person you are. If I'm interested in something, I go all in, I could at least go and do Alias and not go all in, you know what I mean?
Experiment.
Fill up my needs, but now I go all in and I change and I fuck up things.
Exactly, man. Well, now let's talk about the very good things. I see about 13 number ones on Beatport.
Yeah.
How do you do it, man?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, this happens. It's something that you have no control. When you have a number one, you just keep going. But
I mean, there are these periods where you have this certain hype and people trust you and they love, like, let's say 5 releases, like really crazy. They support you, and then just the flow is there, and then obviously you kind of get, people get tired of the certain sound you have. So you need to switch at that one point, especially not for them, but especially for me. And then the tracks are not all the same.
Exactly.
And obviously then it's always like, it goes like that, up and down. And then, I kind of always go step or two back to jump even further. And yeah, this was the thing that I was doing for all these years, not on purpose. It's just
That's
way
what
it
I
is.
was saying. Like, it just happens, obviously.
It just
Obviously,
happens.
quality is the thing that matters the most in the tracks. I feel like nowadays we're just talking about it, how important it is as well to try to create unique concepts for tracks so they stand out even more, right? I feel like the big tracks nowadays have like strong concepts behind. That's why we're looking always for like, you know, interesting like loops, vocals and hooks and things like that to make those tracks a little bit more outstanding, right? I
mean,
think.
as you see right now, it's all about these hip hop vocals, which I think it will slowly die out. There's just my thing.
Yeah.
I was saying the same thing about the rolling bass, and it's still here, you know. So who am I to judge, you know?
Exactly.
Good track is good track, and I actually have some rap vocal tracks coming out. But I think, it's always about this new thing, and obviously the one who's gonna find a formula to make a fresh thing,
yes, exactly.
sounding amazing. That's you know, who's going to reap the best success.
Exactly.
I guess that's the thing. And I'm always looking into new stuff. And I'm actually again now working on a lot of out of the box stuff right now. Out of the box, saying that. Not that was not done before, but not in the form of what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit shocked. But
it's always good to, you know, surprise people.
I think they're gonna be shocked in a good way. You know, it's just like what's that? You know.
Yeah.
But then again, I have a lot of things in my computer.
Yeah.
And then maybe right now I'm betting on one track. Then in 3 weeks I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put it on
that
disc.
happens.
You know?
That happens. You know, we have to clear out some tracks on the way all the time.
But I'm super excited. I still like a kid. You know, just pressing the knobs. Right now, when I was flying over here, I was working on the first flight in a lounge and on the second flight. You know, so I did 5-6 hours of music today while I was traveling.
Because you're able to work in music on the road. We because you know we talk about it sometimes, and you know you're on the road working, and so basically you're able to put ideas together on the road, and then you go back to your studio, and that's where you finish the stuff, right?
So basically, I could finish on my headphones up to 95% of the track. Then I would go back in the studio, and then I would get like a proper ratio of bass and a kick, and I wouldn't hear on headphones some stuff, especially on the low or like really high top end. So like I could finish 95% of the track on my headphones.
Okay, cool. Do you Okay, 2 questions I want to ask. Basically, the first one is, do you try to listen to other music, other genres, other stuff to kind of like get influence for your stuff? Do you try to do that, or do you just try to like, okay, I don't really care too much about that, I just like listen mostly to what's out there, the techno tracks that are performing well, and kind of like that? Do you do that a little bit, or?
Right now, it's always changing. Like the music style, the music production. I used to just do the beats first. Now I go to a melody, and then it's gonna change. Right now, I am searching into Umek 15-20 years ago.
Okay.
Let's see what's gonna happen. You know?
Okay.
So I'm gonna mix the old school with the new school. This is what I'm doing right now. I don't know what the formula is gonna be, or if it's gonna work or not. But what I hear right now, it's pretty damn good.
Okay, good.
But you never know.
I mean, I realize that nowadays there's not really like boundaries anymore. I feel like the whole sound is opening up so much, and in the techno game, you see more commercial tracks coming in, new artists. Like everything is getting like, it's losing a little bit, like maybe the rules that were a little bit like years back. So it's
still here,
of course. But do you think it's like there's less rules and you're able to like play a little bit more around the whole thing without being judged too much, you think?
No, I think the rules are still here.
Yeah.
Just you and me are in the scene where we are commercial in a certain way. Well, commercial, not as Billboard pop songs, but
it's the friendly side of it. Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
I love to be here, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the dark techno side is still there with all the rules. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you can't do that, can't do that. And basically EDM dying and bringing fresh new names in our scene. I think this is the reason why boundaries are there to be broken or to jump across. So as you see, a lot of big names are now playing this kind of techno. And obviously, it's getting more and more commercial. It's just the way it is.
But you definitely need to follow steps. Of course, you need to gain the respect of the industry. You need to do things right. It's not like in one day.
No.
I mean, I can talk a little bit about that because I went through a really, really strong transition, coming from a completely different sound that I was doing years ago. And when I did it, the first thing that I wanted to keep in mind for the chain was to do it right, step by step. We've talked during my whole transition and we've had this, great, communication. And that my only thought in my head was to do things right, not rush it. Of course, everything with respect, doing things. So my main thing was to gain the respect of everyone around and not rush things. No, I want to make this song for this and that, just to do things right.
It takes time.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Obviously.
It happened not the same, but similar thing to me. When I went to tech house and this more commercial sounding coming back.
Yeah,
it was tough.
I can imagine.
Even with all this, rich history that I have, still to this day, there's a lot of DJs, producers that will never recognize me. I mean, give me the benefit of the doubt, and they'll just not. It's just the way it is.
Exactly.
And I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Totally,
I really do.
I mean, as well for Hilo, he's doing incredible at the moment. But it took him a reasonable amount of years. I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years to, get it properly there. And then Adam starts supporting his stuff with the releases, and it takes time to do it right.
It takes time. Oli does an amazing job. As you say, it takes years to come to this scene and get a you get respect that you deserve. But it seems like for him it happened overnight. No, of course not. No, he did. Imagine like this, what's the Cian's label? Octopus. His big track was over there. I was playing it like crazy. And it's a huge track. And just didn't take off. And after 2-3 years, people went back catalog and started seeing what he was doing. These amazing tracks, and it just takes time.
Of course.
A long time usually.
Definitely. I want to ask you something, man. What do you think? Okay. Do you have any dream collaboration? And what I mean by this is not a collaboration that necessarily needs to be in the techno game, but an artist that you would be like, okay, I think I can collaborate with that artist. Can be a singer, it can be anything that you would like to try something out.
I know what you mean. A lot of people have their dream collab. I don't. For me, it's
hard as well to answer that question. It's very hard because I have people that I like, but I'm like, I don't really know how to choose someone on the spot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. The collab happens or doesn't happen. It's that simple.
Exactly.
I got a lot of requests from big artists, which I said no. I asked people who said no to me.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I think we should forget about the ego. At least I do. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I would love to do stuff with some people, but if they don't feel like it, what can I do?
Of course.
So basically, I just do collabs with people that I enjoy. So that might be my friends. It might be I got sent a demo. I can tell you a story for Matteo Vitanza. So basically, send me a track with of the Moby one. He sent me a track. Me and my memory. What's the name of the track? Recently released. You played too. Anyway, so
it's okay. We'll check in a bit.
So he sent me a track which I really loved, and then I was thinking, okay, he needs to do a better mix, a little bit better arrangement, and then I was thinking to him, okay, can you upgrade a track? Or the other idea is I step in, and he really liked the idea. And then it took me 1 year to make a perfect version of it, and I have 7 different versions of that track. I usually give up after 2 or 3 takes. I just give up. I don't have. I don't have energy anymore. With this one, 7 or maybe even 8 versions, and then finally it sounded like I wanted, and it happened. So.
And don't you think when you try to do so many versions, like the good tracks for me happen when I just make 2 versions or 3 versions? Those are the best ones.
It means the first version,
right?
Like I really hate to do second one.
Yeah.
So imagine this. I was like, I almost quit like. I don't know, probably a few times before. I said, no, this is too good of a sample not to do it. And it took me a year. And finally, the last version, we really liked it and released it.
Cool. Yeah, no, but it's interesting, man, because for me, like, for instance, Change the Sun, it happened in like actually one version. It was like on the spot. And the tracks that usually lay around the most, they go through different versions. And then I think when the track turns out good, it's like in the first versions. That's at least what I think, you know?
I mean, for me, the workflow is like that. I almost never give up until it's perfect. You know what I mean? At least it's 100% of what I can do with that track, and then it can be on a hard disk.
Exactly.
But then it's just like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. I did everything I can. Fuck it. It just doesn't sound as good as I would want.
Exactly. Could you tell me your 3 favorite plugins right now that you use then to create something that it's like popping for you? Like,
I should bring the laptop.
Just maybe like 3 that comes to your head that...
So basically, yes, definitely the Clipper.
Okay.
Like the free version one, you can buy. I mean, you can buy the really cool one. The thing is, this is how I get my level up, not to have a distorted sound. Then obviously I couldn't live without Serum.
Okay, likewise, I love it.
I mean, everybody does, and it's so funny because now it's an old synth, you know.
Yeah,
it's an old synth, but still, it's something that I feel comfortable with. Like it's in my heart, so it's always I go there.
Yeah.
Okay, I recently bought Simplant 2. I had a first version, which is interesting, but I didn't dig in yet.
Do you usually make sounds from scratch, or you try to go for presets and tweak them and try to...
I go from presets, but then sometimes I come up with a preset, and when I change it, it doesn't sound anything like it sounded before.
Yeah, exactly, of course.
So I try to tweak it. Sometimes I go from the beginning. I sometimes I just sit down and I make sounds for the whole day, put it in my bank, and it's there.
You save a lot of sounds, obviously. Yeah.
Then the one that I really like is from IK Media, the mastering machine. Is it 5 something, 5 blah blah blah? The yellow thingy. Oh my God, that does a miracle to tracks. Yeah, that does miracles.
Cool.
So that would be something that I use.
Okay, I'll try to steal that. Maybe
that one is a game changer.
Yeah, that's cool.
What I really like lately is when transient designers, different ones.
Okay.
It's like it can be like almost any transient designer just to add transient to the kicks.
Okay.
What I would do with the kick, for example, I would get a sample. You can actually sample it from, I don't know, from a Beatport track, or you can sample it from a sample pack. I would make 3 layers out of that kick, and then I would shorten the high part if there has like the noises inside. I would really cut it short, and then I would go to transient designer and I
tweak
would,
that. I use the same thing, and I use 3 kick drums usually as well. With Isotope, I cut frequencies, and I usually layer to make sure they're right. I'm really picky with kick drums. Okay, this is something that I'm really curious. I want to ask every person that comes here, because I'm a big nerd when it comes to record box, okay? And I'm crazy about listening to music. I listen to so much music, man. Melodic, techno, house, everything. I collect music. So how do you usually, like, first of all, collect music? Because I think you probably collect a lot of music because you've been in the game for so long.
I still buy vinyls, for example.
That's amazing. That's like, but you collect them in your house, right? But like, obviously. Yeah. But in your laptop, how do you collect the music? How do you usually put it together in your record box? And also, how do you usually prepare for shows? Like, what's your approach on this stuff?
So I go to Beatport at least once a week, go through promos. And that's the first filter, obviously, to buy and check the new promos. I put it in the folder. Then there's a second filter that I go through. And the best ones, they go to Recordbox. And then I go through track by track, and then I compare it to the other ones. And then I see, and then it's like the third filter is what stays in my set. And
do you try to save all your tracks in Recordbox as library, and then you create certain playlists, or
I just put them in?
Okay.
Then, like for today, I play 1 hour and 15 minutes. I call the sprint folder.
Okay.
So today is nothing. I'm not gonna invent anything new. So it's just like new 3-4 new tracks, banging ones, plus the big thing that I'm playing right now.
Exactly, because
So it's like,
for an hour and a half, you can't really like do too much. Like you just play the tracks that you like right now.
I mean,
obviously.
even though my sets that I like the most are 2 hours long, I always feel that there's a proper combination of new stuff with the tracks that I love. 3 hours super. If I would play more, then I would need to go into different modes. Start slower,
Yeah.
more mellow, and then build it.
it.
Yeah.
Would you build it from here to here, or would you go like this?
No, I would. I kind of hate going up and then down.
It kills the vibe a little bit.
That's
for you, right?
for that you need 8 hours, I guess.
Yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah. Because I've played a few long sets. I did 8 hours in Bootshaus in Germany. When I do that, I don't just play techno. So I would start from like deep house, a little bit more techy, then I go to techno, then I go for melodic, try to build in different ways. But actually, one of my biggest and favorite things to do, honestly, is to play long sets, right?
Okay.
So during COVID times, I was doing a lot of, I don't want to say COVID times, but we were like not really able to go to clubs. I was doing parties in my house, and I was doing 7-8 hours, and,
Really?
and I love it. Yeah. Like I love long sets, you know. I love improvising. That's why I have a hard time preparing for sets, because I have to like prepare stuff, and then I'm like, man, I don't even know what I'm gonna play, right?
I mean, improvising by, you know what I want to say is like, I feel music as an energy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the most important is that there's this constant cohesive, I don't know the word. So basically, I want a sound similar to 2 hours.
Okay.
So that's my point. So I don't want to fuck it up with a track which maybe I like but has a really bad sound. I'm not gonna put it in a set because maybe a good track destroys your set, because there is a story to tell of 2 hours or 3 hours. And then so basically a track that I really like, I cannot play it in those 2 hours. I could maybe play it just as the last track, or maybe prepare the certain mood to that track. So maybe the energy, I would go down just a little bit in energy of the power of the track, so prepare it for that. But I rather not. For me, it's like I want to have mixed 2 hours of not changing.
Yeah,
as
which
much as
makes so
possible.
much sense, because in techno, what I do, I mean, because when I play 99% of my sets, I want to make sure that my sets make sense. So when I prepare, I just prepare a certain thing that makes sense for me, right? Of course, I'm not going to stick to it, but I know I have my starting point, I have my final point, and I have like a certain I know where I'm going to go, and I'm able to skip tracks. Okay, this doesn't fit. Because for me, it's important to be like, okay, if it doesn't match to the vibe, I'm not going to play where, even if I have it on my set list. You know, that's pretty much how I approach it. So
Yeah.
I like improvising a little bit too.
Why
you know,
not?
like it's just like I've been a real DJ my whole life, you know, and something that I've hated, and one of the reasons why I decided to change my entire career was because I wanted to actually DJ. And you know, in other sound, in other stuff, you're not actually doing what you're supposed to do as much.
I know what you mean. I know exactly.
We work it now. I mean, right now when I'm DJing, I love it because I have my DJs where I'm throwing samples. Then I have 2 tracks. I play acapellas with the RMX. So I feel like I'm building stuff when I'm playing. Back in the days, you know, it's a different thing, but you're just doing a little bit of mixing the tracks, right?
I feel you. I
Yeah.
understand what you mean. I used to do 12-hour sets as well.
Yeah.
On vinyl, I loved it, but honestly, I would literally they would need to take me to the hospital if I would do 12 hours. After 4 hours, my back is killing me. It's like
we're just sitting on the chair, like DJing like this, right?
It's kinda, I would do long sets.
Yeah.
Let's say I would do in West Coast of America, because then I would sleep, let's say till, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I would do like a long.
Okay.
Because that's like early morning, you know, in Europe.
You would wake up?
I would, you know.
Of course, because 4 a.m. is like, depends, 10, 11, 12 in Europe.
So you do a breakfast, and then you can play. So then it's not
so you're
a problem.
fresh, but you're like in breakfast mode,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
or
yeah,
I would do long sets in Europe during the afternoon. I did these events in Slovenia for 10 years, where I played from 4 till 12, something like that.
4 p.m. until midnight.
Till midnight, 8 hours. There was not a problem. It was perfect.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm getting old, man.
No, you're not, man. You're on point, man. You're prime time right now, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest. It's kind of
touring wise, it gets exhausting, of course.
Especially because I'm still afraid of flying. You know, it's.
I didn't know that actually.
I had so many panic attacks with flying. and stuff like that.
Shit. Is it okay? Is it better now?
It is much better, but when there is a turbulence, I almost shit my pants. You know, it is still, you know, now. Wednesday going to America again, second time this year. So I kind of, when I see you, Morten, Space 92, like, how the fuck do you do this?
Yeah. Well,
like, honestly, I don't know how to do it.
I have to say, I get more tired than when I was 17, 18. I'm 28 now. When I was playing in like everywhere as well, when I was 17, I was actually being able to drink most of the time I was playing. I was fine the next day and I would be able to do it. Right now, I'm completely different. So gym is with me every day. Like working out is essential because if I don't, I really feel bad. I feel like shit, you know? So I try, whether it's cardio, doing anything, but just moving your body when you're touring is amazing. Second, doing ice baths, which is what Morten told me, is basically you put a bunch of ice in a bathtub. This is amazing for your body because what it does sometimes when you're jet lag and you don't feel your body, you're like, I'm so tired, I don't even feel my face. You do that and it literally like wakes the fuck out.
I tried a few times cryo chamber when you go to minus 70 or something.
I know that.
Wow, that was a
Have you tried
response.
that?
Yeah, a few times. I wanted to just run out of
run out, right?
Yeah, it's just like
punch the window.
Instinct punches in and you just want, I want to go out.
But that's the thing. That's what Morten was telling me when he came to my place. He was like, the shock that creates in your body when you do it, it's so strong that it creates so many good things for your body. So one advice I try to tell people around me is try to do that, working out. What I do, I actually take sleeping pills on flights because I don't really sleep well, but I need to rest on planes. So I don't love taking sleeping pills because I don't need it when I sleep normally in my place, but for traveling, it helps me because then I get my rest. You know what I mean? I do that. Everyone has their own tricks, but
because I don't do drugs, I don't drink caffeine, I don't drink alcohol, I don't do nothing. So basically, if I take even melatonin, I'm fucked up for the next day.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe that's...
it could be, yeah.
I don't know, like people are laughing when I say it, like melatonin, what, you know, and I
wouldn't even feel that, I think.
Nobody does except me. I'm like a pussy, a small child.
Yeah,
like that.
because you don't take it as much.
So for me, it's kind of, wow, what the fuck is going on? So I hate sleeping pills because then the next day I can't do anything.
It depends on, it can be like you feel slow.
And I'm not that kind of a guy that kind of relaxes that way. I really hate it.
So I stopped drinking caffeine. I used to love coffee. I don't drink caffeine. Only drink a little bit of caffeine when I work out, but I never do it during the day. Like I feel more calm and I try to take it out because my head is always thinking very fast, right? Literally, like I'm always thinking. So if I drink coffee, my head is on like 1,000. You know what I mean?
I had touring and stuff. The last tour I was in States, I had 3 gigs, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I actually had a hangover on Sunday. I remember how hangover looks like.
You had a hangover?
I had a hangover.
Okay.
I didn't drink a sip of alcohol.
You didn't?
It's a natural hangover now.
Okay.
It's like I felt like shit.
Because of how tired you get.
Yes, I was craving like shitloads of sugar, carbohydrates. It's like, wow, give me fat, give me all this stuff. Like I couldn't move.
Yeah.
I was in bed the whole day.
How many shows in a row you did?
3. There's not a lot. There's 3. No, but it's nothing, man.
But still, like I know what you mean because I like giving my 100% and feeling good when I'm playing. When I'm doing shows back to back, slowly you start to feeling a little bit like this. So that's why I would not drink if I have shows in a row.
And I don't go to club before the gig, and I don't stay after.
You literally smash it and go.
Sleep like a baby. But
okay, you don't drink, right?
I don't drink.
Okay.
Then after 3 gigs, I almost.
Yeah, because it's intense. It's intense, but you know, so far so good, right? So far so good. So
I love those 2, 3, 4 hours on the stage.
Yeah,
absolutely adore. I'm addicted to it. You know?
Yeah, you still love it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. I think we are all stage junkies.
We are addicted to it, man. Because when none of us were playing during COVID times. I was feeling empty as hell because I just wanted to DJ. I don't care if you will put me on a corner at a restaurant anymore. I just wanted to DJ, you know? So that's a little bit
I think on a subconscious level, even if you don't want to admit it, and I didn't want to admit it for a long time, we are junkies like this.
We really are, man.
Adrenaline junkies and all the attention that we get, it's beautiful.
Yeah, of course. It really is. It really is. If you could remove one genre, what would it be? It's not about offending or disrespect. It's just something that you don't like at all. I know what I don't like.
Actually, the most thing that I hated was dance in 90s. The thing that it's coming back right now.
Okay.
It's just these are the tracks that I hated the most. Like,
in terms, okay, I'm trying to.
CNC Music Factory.
Okay.
Captain Jack.
Okay.
All this stuff. This is the stuff that I hated from the bottom of my heart.
Okay.
And there's obviously the reason. Because I was in my darkest mood of my life. So this is what I hated the most. And when I hear that stuff to be remixed, I kind of ask myself, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. But then I grew up in 80s and I was listening to different stuff. And kids in 90s, they love that stuff. So, but for me, it's like, why would you remix that? Yeah. But at the same time, I remix something that somebody else is going to say that's shit, you know?
I mean, that's how it works.
But you asked.
that's how it works. Of course, man. Of course. So, okay, man. The last thing I want to do. So I put together 3 words here, and I want you to just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word, like just something fast, like the first thing. The first one is afterlife.
Life.
Life. What do you mean? Like the first thing that comes to you, like how do you feel about it? Afterlife. Is it something that you?
So there was a time that I believed in afterlife. Right now, I just think it's just a man's ego can't wrap the mind around the thing that someday we will just be gone and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you're kind of hopeless. So I'm more into leaning that way, that there's no afterlife, even though it makes me anxious.
Okay.
That, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. The second one, what do you think about TikTok DJs?
Oh, fuck me. I mean, it's, you know, I don't.
There's a limit, right? There's a limit.
No, I just sound old because they are here. It is what it is.
Yeah.
They are moving the crowds probably better than I do. Okay. Not with technical skills and knowledge, but a different knowledge in the way they do. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's here. I can do nothing about it.
Yeah. You can't
but
change it. But
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Likewise, but it is what it is. You know, in the end, it is what it is. Okay, what is your favorite type of food?
Japanese food.
Likewise. I love it. I can eat sushi every day. But funny thing, I just eat the salmon nigiri. So when you take me or a friend of mine takes me for dinner, I would have like 30 or 40 pieces of salmon nigiris and that's it.
Because of the healthy
Not
fats?
really, because I just like the salmon. I don't really like tuna too much. I don't like it, so I just go for it.
Tuna.
I'll be like I'll be a basic bitch.
I love all kinds of sashimi. I even had fugu. The blowfish, you know.
Oh yeah. Like, but that one is actually a bit dangerous. They need to make sure that it's good, right?
Yeah, but like
because if it's not in good condition, I think you're out.
You are, but nobody does it anymore. Even those cooks, they have chefs, they have certificates, you know. But it was a little bit I felt a little bit adrenaline, like
eating it, right? Just to make sure it was good, right?
So yeah, I love sushi. I ate raw fish before I was into cooked fish.
Okay.
Kind of fun story.
Okay. Yeah, man, I love sushi, man. So we're matching on that. Cool, man. Well, great chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time. You know, we're gonna do more and more, guys. Thank you for joining, and shout out to Umek, number 1. Ole. Let's have a great time tonight, guys. Tonight in Lisbon, and see you guys soon. Okay, take care, guys.